The Coach's Corner, everybody. This is the local sports edition here on the show, and we're honored to have UWF baseball coach, Coach Mike Jeffcoat, on the show. Coach, thanks for taking the time to spend with us today.
Well, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure, Paul.
Coach, we're talking with Coach Jeffcoat. My gosh, man, what a story. You are five-time Gulf South Coach of the Year, national title in 2011. Only two head coaches since 1983 there at UWF. I would love for you to talk a little bit about your coach, Coach Jim Spooner.
Yeah, well, I mean, Coach Spooner, what a man, and taught so many of us here how to be a man. And not only just what we did on the field, but off the field. I bet he spent as much time talking about that as he did anything else, and how to treat people right. And, really laid the foundation here. Obviously, took him to the World Series in '89 in the NAIA ranks. I came and played for him in '90 and '91, set school records at that time for 40 wins in those seasons. And, you come back as a head coach. I came back as an assistant after they'd gone Division II in '95, I think, here, and helped us get to the conference tournament. And Spooner's last 3 years in a row won the league there in 2003 and 4, and was able to take over in '05 when he retired. And, just an honor for me to continue to play here, to be able to have been assistant here, graduate assistant here, and then be the head coach. Being in all those positions, I think, really gives you a great appreciation for, the growth of the program, and seeing from its infancy and seeing from when I was a player to where it is now, and the facilities and the resources that the university and the athletic department has put in to, support these athletes, to give them the best chance to succeed on the field and in the classroom. And, our motto in the athletic department is building champions for life. So I think, no greater place to do it than out here on the baseball field. And just like I'm out here right now, before practice starts today, we had that bad storm last night, but boy, it's beautiful today, and we're getting the field all cleaned up. I have great assistants. Kyle Brown, that played for me from '07 through '10, and then was a GA, and then second assistant. Now he's my head assistant recruiting coordinator. Kevin Johnson came back with me this year. He pitched for me in '09 and '10, drafted by the Angels in the 20th round, and pitched 6 years in AAA, and went to big league spring training several times, knocked on the door, but never broke through. But now he's back with us. So to have my staff, and then Alden Davis, a graduate assistant, finished playing with us last year. All my staff has played in the program, and that continuity, and I guess, having that loyalty, what these guys are going to bring every day. They have a invested interest in it as well. They're not just trying to get somewhere else. And, but we're hopefully building a resume for them to get opportunities. But this is a great place, as you know, Paul, in Pensacola, being from here, going to Escambia High School and getting to stay in my hometown. This is a dream come true for me.
Oh, my gosh. I bet it is, Coach. What a job you've done. One, wherever you've been. Let's talk a little bit about the team. You guys are 22-14, 13-8 in the conference, and you guys have swept 2 out of the last 3, and you won 2 out of 3. And you really have, really playing well the last half of the year, and that's when you want to play. But what has been the impetus, Coach? How have you guys turned the corner? Because your players are hitting better. The couple games that I've seen was great defense. Pitching's improved. Talk about all 3 of those aspects.
Well, I think, out of the gate, we've been really pitching and defending very well all year long. We're tops in the conference in pitching and defense, fielding percentage. And, we went down there and took 2 of 3 at Florida Southern to start the year, swept a doubleheader here against Rawlings, where I think they're 6th or 7th in the country now. Took 2 of 3 from Florida Tech, and just went up to a wet, rainy weather in Union and lost 2 of 3 after we beat them pretty good on Friday night. Lost a doubleheader, and then, went up to Huntsville with, I hate to say it, but not really our full squad. We had 7, 8 guys with the flu. Starting shortstop Trent Jeffcoat was down with a pulled rib muscle. We just didn't have all our guys, but we had opportunities in all 3 games and didn't get it done and got swept. And then didn't fare well in the midweeks against North Georgia and Columbus State, but we're right there in every one of these games. Just one little mistake here or there, or not capitalizing on a big hit with the bases loaded, leaving so many base runners offensively, we weren't clicking. And then, went to Shorter and, really played well up there and swept them on the road, which is very tough to do. Came back and played a good Montevallo team that's leading the league. They're a game up on us now, but took 2 of 3 from them and lost one close game that we could have won there. One mistake cost us 2 runs in that game. And then went to West Georgia there before Easter and really pitched and defended really well again there and had timely hitting. And so, we hope to continue that. I mean, this team has got all the ingredients there. As I've said before on our Argo Weekly, it's just a matter of, getting the right ingredients in that pot each and every time and cooking with the same recipe, and I guess with baseball, you can pitch and defend and keep yourselves in it. And that's what we've always kind of hung our hat on here. But you got to start hitting down the stretch here if you want a chance to win a championship. And this team's starting to get in that direction.
They sure are. The bunch of guys are over 300. Let's start with Trent, your son. I want to talk to you a little bit about that aspect. I coach my son in high school, and it's a little bit different dynamic. But, man, is he on a 14-game hitting streak? He's batting .339.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really like to look at all those heavy stats too much. I'm always into the team stats and on-base percentage and what we're doing runner scoring position. But since he's come back from his injury and we move him back to the top of the order, he's really been a catalyst for us, getting on base, scoring runs, stealing a few bases when he needs to, and he's driving in some runs. And him and Darian McDowell right there at the 1-2 punch in the top of the order have been pretty effective for us.
Gosh, I'd say so. The Tate High grads, Darian's batting, goodness gracious, .366 with 8 homers. Does he still have? But his defense stands out as well. Does he still have 0 errors on the air?
No, he's actually had an error too. Both of them were throwing errors. I think he made a throwing error trying to gun a runner down to the plate against Spring Hill a week or 2 ago, and then made a throwing error unnecessarily at West Georgia. But he has picked us up tremendously at first base, really picking the ball, as you said, and a good first baseman, which we've been very fortunate to have. We had Cullen O'Shea the last 3 years that set the all-time home run record, and Darian has a chance to do that if he stays here a couple years. But always a good first baseman is going to make your infield so much better, and Darian's done that again for us this year, stepping in to fill that void of Cullen O'Shea, graduating. So, and then, of course, hitting the ball. Darian, all credit to him. He's dropped about 25 pounds last year playing for Pensacola State. He played through a knee, rehabbing a knee after having surgery on it in the spring, and played in a brace and really wasn't himself and probably gained a little unneeded weight. But got with our strength and conditioning coaches, done a great job getting after it all fall and dropped all that bad weight, made him more athletic, more mobile. And I think it's obviously helped him on the field, but certainly at the plate as well.
Let's talk a little bit about your catcher and your infield. Scordo's batting .330. Jaden Fryman's at .323. Even True Fontenot and Jackson Grabsky have raised their average. Seems like everybody's hitting better on the last 10 to 15 games. Talk about your practices and some of your infield, Coach.
Yeah, and then you miss Dean Holtz in there, starting right fielder, left fielder. Dean's been batting, very well for us. And as you said, Jaden Fryman, and then Preston Moore, one of our leaders, our senior back at third base, is, not have the average, but he's come up with some big hits when we've needed them. And Jackson Grabsky, we bounced him around a little bit. He was in the middle of the infield with Trent early in the year, and now he's playing left field. And Mark Townsend's kind of been in and out of the lineup. He's been our center fielder as well. And then Mike Scordo has been, really the glue that kind of held our team together, because our starting catcher, Josh Prezina, that was back from last year, got hit in the hand batting in the third weekend against Florida Tech and broke it. And we just got him back last week. But Mike caught every game from that point on until last week and did a fantastic job, really hitting the ball, and got better and better defensively. Obviously, it's a little bit was a weak point for us with, stolen bases against, but Mike has really improved and stepped up and helped this team. And now with him and Josh back, it gives us great depth. Josh is a great defender. We're still trying to get his timing back, swinging the bat. And then we got some pitchers back. A lot of times you get guys out for the rest of the year. We're getting Dylan Lawson back next week. He had Tommy John about this time last year, but he wants to finish this season because he has another year, and it doesn't do him any good just to sit out the rest of this year. So we've got him back ready to go. Parker Wakeman, another player we had from Gulf Coast Community College there in Panama City. He's from Tallahassee, and he's been out with a little bit of elbow issues, but he's been throwing and threw an inning for us last week. And then so we like our depth. Everybody's getting back healthy, knock on wood.
Awesome, Coach. Talk about your practices. I always was a firm believer because I'm a football guy, I guess. I don't know. But I was always a firm believer in hard practices. Are you guys scaling back practices, or how do you divvy up the practice schedule from, say, fundamentals to game situations?
Yeah, well, this week we didn't have any midweeks, and, we played the West Georgia series early Thursday, Friday, so they had a rare. I gave them off Saturday, Sunday for Easter, and that was good, and I think their bodies needed it. But as far as the practice during the week and we don't have a midweek, we like to get after it. You're right. I like to try to make sure the practices are at game speed. We put them on the watch a lot in terms of ground balls off the bat, and we talk about an average time down the line from home to first, about a 4.2. So that's kind of our mark, where we're not just letting them field it and go through the motions. We're trying to play the game speed and put pressure on them. And then we do the same thing with our batting practice. We play it live off the bat, and then we'll go off the machine and do simulated inter-squad, where we're working our hit and runs and moving runners and scoring runners. And if a guy doesn't do the job, we'll oftentimes have consequences where everybody drops down and gives 10 push-ups. So everybody's wanting to encourage him, and everybody's, feeling the, ownership, so it's not just one guy, come on, and he keeps messing up, makes him concentrate. You got to, up the ante in practice. And, as you said, you try the best you can, as I do, to make practices harder so the game's easier. Obviously, this time of year, you don't want to wear them down, but certainly we don't want to just float through the week. But today, we got a doubleheader tomorrow, playing the doubleheader at 1 tomorrow against AUM. And so today we're in shorts, and we're going to batting practice and take ground balls. All our pitchers did our pins yesterday. We did live hit with pitchers that didn't throw on the weekend on Monday and Tuesday, where they're throwing to hitters that haven't had a lot of ABs, or hitters that are still working on getting out of some things they've been working on. And, that's a great way for us to see guys that haven't thrown out of the pen, to evaluate, hey, are you improving, so that maybe you can get a shot to come in during these games on the weekend. Because when you're playing these weekend conference games, you're going to go to your top 6 or 8 guys first. And then the guys after that, they're your midweek guys, and they got to be ready to keep improving. So it's a twofold thing. We always have hitters stand in during our bullpens to give our pitchers a visual, to help our hitters continue tracking pitches and trying to be on time. I mean, hitting's about being on time. So, yeah, you're right, Paul. We try our best to do all those type things, and sometimes that's why you kind of take it a little more personal than you should, I guess, when they don't perform or they don't get the bunt down, and, you've worked on it, consistently. And, it's disappointing. So you want them to execute when you've worked on it. I think the worst thing as a coach for me would be, not seeing some deficiencies and weaknesses in your team during a game and not worked on it, or certainly if you see that, you want to make it a point of emphasis that week to go and really work on it. Something maybe overlooked, or you haven't hit on it in a while because it hadn't come up. So, we have a checklist of things we always try to go through.
Coach, you know me so well. You knew the questions before I even asked them. That's awesome. Competitive. You gotta keep it competitive in practice. You just do, man. You got to keep the energy up and the enthusiasm, because if the coach, if you're not enthusiastic, it's just not good for anybody. You're in a battle, Coach. There's like 5 teams within one game of the Gulf South Conference, lead. Montevallo and Valdosta State, 14-7, and then West Georgia and Alabama Huntsville, all 13-8. So these last 3 weeks are pretty big, and I think you guys are ready. You're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's as best as you could want it. We've got AUM and West Alabama the next 2 weekends at home before we go finish at Valdosta State. So, if we can take care of business at home and win these series, and, if we were fortunate enough to try to sweep, but, win the series and going to Valdosta State with a chance at the league. So, obviously it depends on what other people do. We can't control that. We've got to go win games because right now we've got a great strength of schedule. We've beaten all the good teams. And so we're in the hunt for the regional at large bid as well.
That's awesome, Coach. Proud of you. Thanks for taking the time. What a place it is. UWF is definitely a special place. 10 national titles. Steve Fella has 2 in golf. Coach Racine has 4 in tennis, so they're all chasing Racine.
Yeah, I want to show you this great view. You see this great view of the field out here?
Oh, my gosh. Come out and see UWF Argos, folks, this weekend. Friday doubleheader and Saturday, 1 o'clock on
Saturday. Yes, sir.
Beautiful day. Great job, Coach. Proud of you. Keep it up. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Bye-bye. All right. So that was Coach Mike Jeffcoat. What a coach he is, huh? National title year. I got Hobbs here.
Hey,
come on in, Hobbs.
Hey,
guys. Say hey to Hobbs.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. We're in a beautiful place. It's Local Sports Report, UWF Argo update as we continue on a little bit. That's the baseball news. Softball 17-15, 9-11. So they're in the middle of the pack. They're playing better, too, in the second half of the season, the Lady Argos are. As since March 25th, they've swept Shorter 2 out of 3 against West Georgia and Montevallo. So both the men and women are at home this weekend, so go check them out. That's UWF Argo update. Some other news of interest. Tampa Bay Rays are on fire. They won 13 in a row to start the season in baseball, House.
Incredible. Go Rays.
Go Rays. I want to shout out the Boston Bruins, my favorite hockey team when I was a kid growing up playing hockey myself in upstate New York. The Boston Bruins set an NHL record for most points, 133 points, most wins. They'll be 65-12-5 if they beat Montreal tonight. Hobbs, let's touch a little bit on the high school high school action. I know Pace is ranked number 1 in 6A.
Real quickly.
17-2?
Yes, real quickly.
Pull over here, Hobbs.
All right.
We can see you.
Yes, sir. Real quickly, Coach Jeffcoat, again, his son and PJC, they're doing well. They won today at Spring Hill, and his son, he might not even know it yet, but his son pitched 1 inning today. And they, and he started the game for the PJC, for the PSC Pirates, and they have beat Spring Hill's JV today 8-5. Just want to throw that little shout out. I don't know
for PSC.
For PSC, yeah. I don't know if Coach Jeffcoat even knows that yet. But when you talk about that high school right now, Tate and Tate and Pace are going at it tomorrow night.
Yes.
In Pace.
In Pace tomorrow night, Friday night at 7 o'clock.
Yes, indeed.
Two of the top teams.
Yep, 2 of the top teams. Tate's right now 14-5, but they've been looking forward to this game here. I think you're going to see both teams' best, and this will be a preview to the showdown for the District 6A championship. And don't forget, you got a good Gulf Breeze team in there as well.
Wait a minute, Gulf Breeze is ranked number 8. They're actually ahead of Tate. They're 14-5. Tate's 12-5. But in Class 6A, they're ranked 8th, and I think Tate is 16. Yes. So you got 3 of the top teams in the state in the same district, not the same region, the same district.
And we are very fortunate to have that going on around here. And you're crazy if you don't get out and see and support these guys out there. And we're playing real good baseball around here.
Yep. Tate. All right. So Tate at Pace Friday night. Northview's 11-3, and the Chiefs are ranked number 2 in the state in Class 1A.
Well, with Jamarcus Jamarcus Jefferson there, they should have a real good ball club up there. And don't forget about your Capricorn Crusaders, Coach R. Labounty.
That's right. Coach Labounty's team's number 6 in 3A.
Yes, 14-4. And right now, their chief competition ought to be the Mariana Bulldogs over there at 13-5. Now, Mariana is kind of a quirk in the schedule. Mariana's 5-0 in that district, and Kappa hadn't played any district games right now, but I'm sure that'll even up real soon.
Did I see Walton beat Gulf Breeze or Pace or somebody? Pace? They beat Pace the other night.
South Walton right now is 16.
Good pitcher. He's 2-0. I think they beat him 2-0.
Well, South Walton has they're 16-3 right now. They're in the district with West Florida Tech, who's 14-5. South Walton was a team that played Catholic High that night, and there might have been some hard feelings that night. But South Walton had lost to Tate the night before, and then they lost to Catholic the next night. But if they came back and got Pace, I wouldn't be shocked. And they might have done it with a freshman pitcher. Just saying.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Talk about freshman pitchers. I remember, let's switch gears to softball. Pace softball team, number 6 in the state in every class. And, of course, number 2 in 6A. They're 18-0. The state has Bartow ranked ahead of them. They're 18-2.
Oh,
Jaden Heavener, and oh, my gosh. What does she have, like a 0.2 ERA?
Something ridiculous.
She has like 5-6 shutouts, a couple 3 or 4 perfect games. She's amazing.
Yes, and Bartow's been a thorn in our girls' softball side here. From I guess the Pine Forest teams, the Scamby teams. Bartow has been a thorn in our side. So
they're a powerhouse.
They are a powerhouse in softball. Yes.
All right,
yes.
Gulf Breeze softball team, 17-0, ranked number 2 in Class 5A.
Yes.
Number 1 overall for all classes of Florida Parish Community High Schools at 14-2. So Gulf Breeze number 16 overall.
Well,
yeah.
Hey,
that's before we leave, we got to go to commercial break. Before we leave, local sports report. I want to give a shout out to Paul Bryan, winning championships again at Pine Forest High School girls track and field team.
All right.
That's right. 2023 Escambia County champs. His 4x100 meter team slashed 2 seconds off their PB, running a 47.29, second best in the state of Florida. Keep it up, Coach Bryan. Doing a great job. Hobbs, thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for watching Local Sports Report.
Yes, sir.
Make sure Saturday, catch Coach's Corner at 10 o'clock Central. Have a great sports weekend.
Over 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352. 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
75 years of service in high-tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High-tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple pane of brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
Hey, Bill, some game, huh?
I haven't really noticed, Paul.
What? The biggest game of the year?
I've been looking over my insurance. Talk about problems I'm trying to figure out.
Well, do what I did. Call the Seiler Agency. They showed me what I needed and what I didn't. They even saved me money. Now, instead of worrying about my insurance, I can worry about the big game.
Contact the Seiler Agency at 476-7443 for all of your insurance needs. Your independent agent for home, auto, boat, RV, commercial, general liability, life, and sound investment strategies. Call 476-7443 today.
Barnes Heating and Air is a proud sponsor of Alabama football, serving the entire Pensacola community for over 50 years. Barnes Heating and Air is passionate about providing customers with world-class air conditioning and heating repairs, sales, and installation. Barnes Heating and Air is family-owned, insured, and committed to quality. For a free estimate, call 478-0141. Barnes Heating and Air is #1 in customer service with service calls 7 days a week. Call Barnes Heating and Air 478-0141 and roll Tide. Barnes Heating and Air is